and climate of inflation has seen gold rise 13% and Bitcoin rise 394%. Any savvy investor will tell you that investments in actual commodities are not always the best. Gold is merely the least bad option. Now, if any of you supporters of Bitcoin go out and speak to people, you will discover that the widely held belief is that Bitcoin is a digital currency. Everyone gets worked up over it because they believe that since it's a medium of exchange, it should be treated as legal currency and not be subject to taxes, in addition to competing with the yen, dollar, euro, ruble, CNY, and so on. It turns into a highly contentious issue. If you set that aside for a moment, you'll see that's the unpleasant story and move on to the false one, which claims that Bitcoin is digital gold. It's not a very good story, but it's kind of true. Why? For example, how many billionaires among you made a $1 billion investment in gold if you were to ask 1,000 of them? And there is no response. And if you approach 1,000 affluent families and ask them, "Are you going to go buy $1 billion of gold now that you're wealthy?" "No," is the response. You reply, "We have digital gold," to that. It's excellent. At the speed of light, it travels. It can be programmed. It is teleportable. It's excellent. "Well, that's nice, but I don't own any gold," they reply. Nobody that I can find owns gold. Advocates of gold do not themselves possess gold. For the record, Peter Schiff has been a gold advocate for 15 years. And do you own any gold, Peter, when you ask him? "Oh no, I don't possess gold," he says. It makes up a very tiny portion of my portfolio. All right, so locate me a gold-owning person with whom you can even have a discussion. The explanation is that there appears to be a 1 to 3% anomaly in every portfolio. Saylor demonstrates the stark difference in performance between gold and Bitcoin, pointing out that the former has experienced a spectacular growth of 394%, while the latter has experienced a more gradual climb of 133%. This difference highlights how well Bitcoin has performed and how promising it is as a digital gold substitute. Saylor contends that this comparison may oversimplify Bitcoin's potential, despite the fact that it is frequently used to compare Bitcoin to digital gold. Think about educating wealthy people about the benefits of investing in digital gold instead of physical gold, since they might not even know that this is their next big opportunity. This idea may come across as pushy, but it highlights the need of having a deeper comprehension of Bitcoin's distinct value proposition than just drawing parallels with other conventional assets. Although Bitcoin is the finest commodity, commodities in general are all bad. In fact, Bitcoin corrected the commodity, but the term commodity itself is derogatory. Any wise investor or business person understands that you should move as quickly as possible. Run away from commodities, don't stroll away. So what exactly is Bitcoin? There is only scarcity in Bitcoin. It isn't a product. Something you can produce indefinitely is called a commodity. Additionally, anyone is free to produce an endless amount and sell it. It's unlikely that holding $1 billion worth of soybeans for a century will provide your granddaughter with generational riches. Isn't that right? Reasonably clear-cut. However, your grandchild won't inherit $1 billion worth of gold either. The first truly rare commodity in human history is Bitcoin. It so constitutes a whole new asset class, you would have to argue. It's not a share, it's not a possession, it isn't a product, it is distinct from other things. It's fresh. There is nothing to compare it to because it is new. Therefore, you have to ask yourself, what is scarce in the world if there isn't a scarce commodity? Find me, whatever is rare, find me. And to illustrate my point, I've placed the hourglass here. You cannot purchase more Bitcoin or more time with any amount of money. Thus, from a physicist's perspective, my goal is to purchase land. To tell the truth, wealthy families in the 20th century made money from real estate rather than from technology. And the property you purchased was in the center of either New York, London, or Paris, or it was a beachfront property in the Hamptons, Palm Beach, or another location. But it's likely that you purchased extremely sought-after downtown commercial real estate. However, it's a bit of a bromide. Individuals will often remark, "Oh yeah, well I guess commodities can be manufactured, but land, they're not making that anymore. They're not making any more land, you know." Okay, have a look at this photo of Mark Twain. In actuality, they are creating more land. This is Boston 3 centuries from now. Boston was made up of half. Miami Beach is where I call home. The last 100 years have seen the construction of 3/4 of Miami Beach. Is everything made? They excavated it. They make land in Dubai. They made the land in Rotterdam and Amsterdam. In actuality, you can create land if you have enough money. You would be astonished at how much you made if you wanted it to. Most people don't give this much thought. Ultimately, though, holding all of your land and financial resources won't really be helpful because they will eventually inflate. Furthermore, it will be hindered by an array of other difficulties. Thus, Bitcoin is the best asset. Which property is the greatest? The best property is Bitcoin. Which property is the second best? Surely there cannot be a second best property. The world's best and most technologically advanced metropolis is this one. There are currently 220 million people living there, which is the world's second best digital city. The best city in the world is unmatched. Why does this have such power? It's worldwide. It is open to everyone. It's electronic. There are billions of mobile devices, and you can zap there on a phone. It's accessible. There is no mayor in this city to tell you what you can't accomplish. However, anyone can zap there with their capital whenever they'd want. It lacks authorization. Moreover, purchasing a building is not required, and you don't. That is, how many individuals in New York can really afford an apartment? In New York, most people cannot afford an apartment. In this city, you can purchase a portion of a piece of real estate. It is entirely divvyable. This is the city that never dies. Perhaps New York has existed for a few hundred years. This metropolis may have existed for 10 millennia. It is an online city. Furthermore, although sustainability is a topic we discuss here, it doesn't mean that paintings are done. This city won't be hit by a tornado. In this city, there is no requirement to get flood insurance. You don't have to be concerned about, say, a neighborhood group organizing and passing a zoning law. Both the city and the properties within it will endure. Isn't Bitcoin the best property? Why would you purchase that anyway? Because it's an infinitely better option than purchasing an apartment that you will never be able to utilize for Airbnb. When you pass away, what will you do? You're going to leave your grandchildren with instructions on how to use the Airbnb. Furthermore, where are the guidelines for effectively persuading the mayor not to tax or regulate your Airbnb accommodations? One of the issues with property is that it is intrinsically corrupting in the real world because politicians will take it away from you if you are not a political actor on your own land. And it makes you believe that you need to subsequently use political pressure and seize power within the government, be it local, county, or state. They created entire states.